Hello, this is Danny Blyth looking at sleep in traditional Chinese medicine, adults and children. Remember, this is for acupuncture students and practitioners only. Please pause and read this. So the Chinese body clock, first discussed in the 12th century and popular during the Yuan and Ming dynasties. It describes the movement of qi through the channels at different times of the day. So in simplest terms, we have the height of yang at midday, birth of yin, and that gradually increases till the height of yin at midnight and the birth of yang, and then yang gradually increases until midday. So this is like the flow of the tides, with, for example, between 11 AM and 1 PM the heart is at its strongest, and between 11 PM and 1 AM the heart is at its weakest, at its opposite time. So if we look at this in terms of sleep, first of all, 9 till 11 PM, triple burn is at its strongest, but the spleen is at its weakest, so this is a really bad time to eat, or else it can disturb sleep. 11 till 1, the gallbladder is at its strongest, but the heart is at its weakest. So if there's heart blood deficiency, you might get difficulty getting off to sleep and light sleep. Between 1 and 3 AM, the liver is at its strongest. So if there's heat in the liver yang rising, any full patterns of the liver, you can get nightmares, waking, or an excess of creativity, too many thoughts running through your brain. Between 3 and 5, the lung is at its strongest. The bladder is at its weakest, so people often wake to get up to the toilet at this time. Between 5 and 7 AM, the large intestine is fullest, and the kidney is at its weakest. So at this time, or before it, if somebody is kidney yin deficient, they may wake with a start, they might wake anxious, they might wake hot and bothered. So in Western medicine, our 24-hour clock is controlled, the circadian rhythm is controlled largely by the hypothalamus, also some of the organs, and adjusted by external stimulus, so the light-dark cycle, temperature and sleep. So our highest temperature is about 7 PM. Melatonin starts being released at 9 PM to make us sleepy and drowsy, although this is much later in adolescence. 10:30 bowels are suppressed, which is our spleen weak time. 2 o'clock cortisol is at its lowest, so getting near to kidney weak time. Cortisol peaks 6 to 8 AM. There's a steep rise in blood pressure at 6:45, and melatonin production stops at 7:30. By 9 AM our testosterone levels are at their highest. And this of course gets adjusted. Different people can be larks or owls, or somewhere in the middle, roughly an even spread. The other way in which sleep is controlled in Western medicine is through the build-up of adenosine, which builds up in the brain and causes sleep pressure. And this process can become blocked by caffeine. So you have to be very careful about drinking caffeine in the latter half of the day. So sleep hygiene and preparing for sleep is really important, making that adjustment from being yang to being more yin. So think of settling down by a campfire. You want less light generally, and you certainly want less blue morning light and more red light, so you can switch your devices. You want a cooler environment. Evening starts to cool down, and a calmer environment. Everything becomes darker and quieter. You want to avoid eating, as we've said, and regularity. The body likes a nice regular pattern. So that's part 1. We'll look at spirit and syndromes in part 2.